Who was I?
They gave you so many identities. Cheever, Lee, Kane, Bourne. You were one of the first ones in the program.
We have a situation.
Bourne showed up on our surveillance in Southern Europe.
Tour in Italy.
London.
Tangier. What's he after?
He's retracing his steps, looking for something. We need to know what it is.
Someone made me what I am. And I'm gonna find him. Who's Vosen?
He trained you.
He was with you from the beginning. He knows who you are.
They're not gonna let you go. They need to bring you home in a body bag.
Is Jason Bourne a good man who went bad, or is he a bad man yearning to be good?
Good question. I think it probably depends on your point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think that's what's fun about the character is he's this conflicted guy who, you know, is trying to do the right thing, but has all these impulses to do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And he's trying to, but he knows kind of somewhere in there is this guy who just wants to, you know, atone and resolve and, you know, walk the earth like Cain, you know, so.
Right.
Exactly that question was the question I asked myself at the front. You know, when I started, I watched Identity and Supremacy back to back because you're trying to find where the story should go next, you know. And when you watch them, you're aware much more than you can be in watching any one film of the underlying arc of the story as a whole. You know, and you've got to, you know, it's through Identity, through Supremacy, and now you've got to complete it in Ultimatum. And then you realise that he's arrived in New York at the end of Supremacy, but you don't know why. You don't know why he's there, and you don't know what's brought him there, and you don't know what he's looking for. And that's really the question that this film explores, and what you discover, of course, is that he's looking for his identity.
Daniel said the training was experimental. Behavior modification. They had to break down the agents before they became operational. He said you were the first one.
Why are you helping me?
It was difficult for me. With you.
Nikki Parsons has she's come a long way from when we first saw her in the first movie. Did they tell you way back when kind of what the story arc was going to be for your character over the next two films? They just kind of happen, you know?
No, I never could have anticipated that there were going to be 3 movies, and I think what is really fun about making these is that the character arcs have evolved organically. Like after Identity came out and we were coming back to make Supremacy, I said to Paul that, you know, well, we had a discussion about how nobody really knew what Nikki was doing in the first one, and she was kind of a fly on the wall, but it turns out she had more information and is, you know, withholding a lot of information, so we wanted to exploit that. And then, given what happened to her in Supremacy, you know, her opinion of the agency has changed, and she wants to get out.
Basically, your character appears to have a crisis of conscience in the end and is trying to, like, basically help Bourne. Mm-hmm. Now, is she doing that because she wants to do the right thing, or is she doing it out of maybe some sense of self-preservation if she knows Blackbriar is going to explode one of these days, or is there, you know?
Well, that's very interesting. I've always thought of it, you know, it's hard to know because there's so many levels of meaning and understanding in that world. Yeah. I took it to a very simple level, that basically Bourne is like, it's a very closed group, and one thing that one of my friends who's in the, you know, who I did research with said, you band together and you bond together because there's so much information the outside world can never know. And so I always thought that Pam really thought of Bourne as an agent brother she's gone through similar training. He went through some super training that she doesn't really understand. But you protect your own, you look after your own. What's Bourne's last fixed position?
London, 1200 Zulu.
Status, what is he, armed, wounded?
Alive, mobile, and unknown.
You have an echelon package?
Yes.
Why isn't it on?
We were waiting.
Waiting for what? What, listen, people, do you have any idea who you're dealing with? This is Jason Bourne. You are 9 hours behind the toughest target you have ever tracked. Now, I want everyone to sit down, strap in, and turn on all you've got. That would mean now!
What can you reveal to us about Blackbriar?
Everything that the film reveals. It's they call it a black ops division of some bigger system, whether it's the CIA or NSA or Pentagon or some maybe even global network that is whose job it is to do surveillance and assess and collect and gather and information and all stuff that's pertinent to the interests of, well, in this case, the United States.
Jason Bourne is searching for the truth, and in the words of the man who was Frank Costello, can he handle the truth? You know?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, look, I mean, given what happened in the first two movies, he knows that the answer to this fever dream he's having is not going to be good. You know, it's like he's learned some pretty horrible things about himself already, so he kind of knows, I'm sure, where it's going. So I think he's equipped to deal with it.